Last time that we met up with Adrian and Nicole, we were taking a thorough look at their HOA resale package. Today, Bill Marin called me and said, "Hey, Andrew, great news. We got the home appraisal in." And I said, "Wonderful. What did it come in at?" And he said, "Well, I need to meet with you guys tonight." And I was like, "Oh my God, why we got to meet up in person over the appraisal results?" So I'm kind of like, I think we all need to just do that little hashtag JTAP together. Just take that breath and put some positive mojo into the world that everything turns out okay for Adrian and Nicole. So that's where we're headed right now, is to Bill Marin's office to review the appraisal results and go over the next steps for Adrian and Nicole's home loan process. Now, when it comes to your home appraisal in real estate practice, you can most commonly expect that your loan officer will give you a call with the results of your appraisal directly, and that they will also be sending you a copy of your appraisal report, which kind of begs the question, why did Bill ask us to the office today? Either way, it's great to see him. It's always great to catch up with the Hernandez family, and let's send them positive mojo that everything goes well. All right, the Hernandez family is going to be here any minute. I always love catching up with them. I'm super excited, very curious to see what Bill tells us about their home appraisal and the next steps involved with their home loan. Drop us a line in the comments below about what your favorite part of this series has been, and let's go meet up with Adrian and Nicole. Buying your first home is a momentous occasion many of us have dreamed about for as long as we can remember. Meet first-time homebuyers Adrian, Nicole, and their family of 4 as they move forward buying their first family home.
We want to have space where we can run and stretch our feet and spread our wings and fly.
You'll be with them every step of the way from their home buying game plan meeting.
What makes you happy and excited when you visualize your home?
All the way to their closing day.
He's somewhere up there proud of me. Proud of him.
Watch their story unfold on Real Estate, The Untold Stories.
Adrian, Nicole, young ladies, come on in.
Hello, hello. I know today's an exciting day. We got your appraisal results in. What are we thinking? How are we feeling?
We're thinking a favorable outcome.
What is this?
This is expecting a favorable outcome.
This is expecting a favorable outcome? Okay,
Yes.
This news to me, I was like,
What, they're paying you extra money? I mean, what's going on?
Oh,
here?
and body language.
Right? Body language, love it. And then I know that as long as everything checks out with the appraisal, Bill shared with me that he was going to review some of the underwriting steps. So being that we're like at the halfway point right now, you guys like jazzed up, ready to close like yesterday?
We cannot wait to close this sucker.
So ready.
What have you guys been up to anyways?
Oh,
Well,
same old, same old.
I mean,
You say that, but you guys always are doing
It's
something.
always the same for me, it feels like.
Okay, so you got a cousin getting married every weekend. I'm just saying. It's like every
It
time
feels
we
like
talk,
it.
like,
It
what are you
feels
doing this
like it.
weekend? Oh, we got to go to California. Somebody's getting married. Oh, we're going to Tennessee. We got a
that's
distant cousin getting
that's part of why
married.
we have to have the house, so we can have people come to our house instead of us
Yeah.
going all over the place.
So let me go ahead and see where Bill's at, so we
Okay.
can go ahead and go back. Okay.
For sure.
All right.
All right, guys, how you doing?
Hello. Good.
see you
Bill,
guys again.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Good to see you, Bill.
Good to see you.
Very good.
Good to see
Hello.
you.
Nice to see you.
Hi, girls. Oh, I'm gonna shake my hand. I get a handshake too. All right. Good to see you, girls. Come on back.
Okay.
So how you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty good, Bill.
Doing good. Getting excited.
Getting really excited.
Awesome.
It's kind of cold out, but we're really ready to get into this house
Nice.
and hoping everything's on the up and up.
Nice, man. And I know the girls got to be excited for the pool. I'm sure Mom is excited too. So that'll be
Oh,
yeah.
fun for the summertime.
How's
Oh,
it going?
definitely.
I'm excited for it to warm up. All right, guys, so you might be wondering why a home appraisal is important. So an appraisal is very important because it's going to actually tell you what your home is worth in the eyes of a lender. So it's going to tell you what, based on the sales price of the home, the comparable values of the properties that are recently sold in the area, what the actual lender is going to base the value of your home on. Now, if you absolutely love the property, if you are in love with the property, and hey, the appraisal comes in at 400, but you're willing to pay, say, 410 for the property because it's perfect for your family, it fits your situation, that's well and good. You can absolutely pay above what the home is worth. But your lender, whoever you're working with, is going to base the value of that property for the financing purposes of what the home actually appraised for. So again, guys, it's super important to make sure that you get the appraisal ordered early on in the process so we can get that back, because sometimes it can take anywhere from 4 to 5 days. Sometimes I've seen it take a week or two with scheduling issues to actually get the appraisal report back. Once you get that back, you should get a copy of it. Definitely review that and go over that with your loan officer to make sure everything's correct. One thing to definitely look out for on the appraisal when you're reading it, on probably the second or third page, it's actually going to show you what the actual value is. And it's going to say if it's as is, meaning there's no repairs that are required per the lender, per the actual loan program guidelines, because different loan programs do have different guidelines that do require different things with different loans. If there is items that need to be fixed per the lender's guidelines, they will be notated right there most often. It'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed. Most of the time they're relatively simple because most realtors these days are professional. They do understand what's going on. They understand what is more than likely going to be needed. So I should have talked to you about that in the initial process. Sometimes things are missed, not a big deal. Just address that with your lender, address that with your realtor, and just make sure everybody's on the same page. That way it does get handled in a timely manner to make sure it's not going to cause any issues for you down the road. So guys, just review those appraisals, and if you got questions, reach out to your lender. Thank you.
Yes, their home appraisal came in higher than expected, which means they're going to have equity from day one. It's like doing the happy dance and getting all kinds of fun with it, because it's always exciting when that happens, and it doesn't happen that often. Now, it's really easy in all of this excitement to want to share your good news with everybody you know, post it on social media. It is important to note that we need to keep our calm, our cool, and our collected minds focused on the task at hand. So let's all do a big hashtag JTAP, including me. You know, let's just take a breath, reassess, and approach the process moving forward calmly, coolly, collected, and let's stick to the facts, because after you close, then you can share it with the world about how great of a deal you got. Now, obviously, I am like super fired up for the Hernandez family. I hope you are too. Let us know how fired up you are and what you think of the appraisal results in the comments. Now let's dive back in and see what else Bill's got to share with us.
All right, guys, so this is the appraisal that just came in. So the good news is it came in above value, right? Which that means is you got a smoking deal. You guys got a great real estate agent, did a good job getting into that property. And when it comes in above value, good for you guys. You guys are really the only ones that need to know. Don't go out there telling everybody. Don't go tell the listing agent, the seller, all that kind of stuff. It's good for you guys, right?
Did we come in above value?
You did, a couple of thousand.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, those initial comprehensive market analysis and getting all that stuff done was a good idea, and we were able to get a good price.
So great.
Start off on the right foot.
Yeah, man. So it kind of instant equity. I mean, great job negotiating on Andrew's part. And so this is going to just break down a lot of basic information. We're not going to go through the entire 38 pages of an appraisal. You fall asleep, right? But it is yours, so you're going to get an emailed copy of it, so you guys can look through it. Ever, need to try to fall asleep at night, read through it, right? You'll see a bunch of different stuff on there. But the basic thing, the most important thing is what I was talking about here is you want to look on this first page that's going to show the actual appraised value. So what this means is your home came in appraised for that value right there, okay? And this little box right here, this beautiful little box, this check says as is. What that means is not only is your home worth a little bit more than what you're buying it for, but there's no repairs that are required per the VA. So the VA is actually not going to require any additional little things to be fixed, which means, because VA appraisers are very, I guess for lack of a better term, anal about their veterans. They want to make sure that everything's dialed in. They want to make sure you're not going to move into the house, have a bunch of additional expenses to take care of on the property. Basically, you're buying a property that's move-in ready, right? Mm-hmm. So as is great. So that's super important that you see that.
They're basically agreeing that it is move-in ready.
Yep.
Yeah, there's nothing, nothing that's.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly. So it's good, man. So this is kind of the basic stuff. You want to make sure you understand what that is, and then, like I said, you want to read through this and fall asleep one night. Just scroll through it, read all this kind of beautiful stuff. One cool thing that's on here that is, I don't know if you're a lot like me, but maybe a little bit of a nosy neighbor. You kind of want to see what your neighbor's houses, are sold for, what they're for sale for, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You can actually scroll down to the bottom of the appraisal. It's going to break out all of your information about your property, the square footage, the rooms, and all that. But down at the bottom, it's going to show the different comparable values. So a lot of times people look at Zillow and they're like, oh man, my house is worth this because Zillow says this. Maybe. Right? This is actual accurate information that the appraiser is using for the appraisal, and they're going to show the other comps. Comps are properties that were for sale recently closed within a certain radius.
Programs like Zillow or Redfin or other stuff, it uses it all kind of.
Yeah, it's all over. Because I mean, across Zillow uses these things. I mean, because there's properties over here in Spanish Trail over here that might have similar square footage, but because it's a guard-gated community on the golf course, a little bit more expensive.
So whenever I did the comparative market analysis, there was enough recent comparable sales within the actual subdivision. So when you have enough recent comparable sales in the actual subdivision, you go and drill down on that area. In the case if there wasn't enough is when you start seeing an appraiser or a real estate agent slowly inching out. but also taking into account the type of neighborhood it is. And I can tell by the look on your eyes, I started the nerd too much. You're like, oh, dude, too much math.
Too much math, man. So the kind of like a side note, aside of the appraisal, I just noticed where you're at. That's a great area. Awesome area. I actually grew up in the neighborhood. There's some amazing parks and things up here, like if your kid's into sports, soccer, anything like that. Tons of just cool soccer parks and things like that right up there. So the appraisal looks solid. I don't see any concerns with it. So sometimes what happens is once the appraisal is completed, even though we get it in, an underwriter has to review it and okay the appraisal, right? But the cool thing is about a VA loan is the VA appraiser sent it in, right? And it was actually reviewed by an underwriter already, and they issue what's called a notice of value. And your notice of value actually was right in line with what the appraised value was. So you're solid. So everything's good to go. Everything checks out with the appraisal. No concerns. Like I said, came in a little bit higher than the contract price, so I wouldn't really be concerned about anything at this point with the appraisal.
Very nice.
So, okay.
Perfect.
So you guys will get a copy of that in your email, so you'll have it. So just save it for your records in case you ever want to look back at it. But other than that, that is what it is. Any questions at all about that at all?
No, sounds good.
Yeah, just
Good.
what we wanted to hear,
Cool.
even better.
Yeah, it's good. All
Bill,
right.
are you sure we can't go through the other 35 pages, please?
Oh, no, sir. Okay. No, sir.
Yeah. Adrian's scratching his head. No.
Yeah, no. See, look, yeah, we'll go through it. There you go, Andrew. No, look, so it's really cool. It does give you a bunch of pictures and things of your house. So it gives you all that, and it shows, it actually is pretty cool because it breaks down in your neighborhood. Once you get down to the bottom here, it will show you all the different comps. So like I was saying, it'll show you the different comps and things for the different homes in the neighborhood. And it'll break down and show you the square footage. It'll show you the lot price, price per square foot, all that information right there for your neighborhood. So it's pretty cool. The underwriting process. What is going to happen during this time frame is your loan officer, your lender, is going to get that information into an underwriter. Now, an underwriter is someone who's actually going to comb through a file, is going to comb through all the documentation that was provided to your lender, is also going to look at all the information you put on your loan application. Now, pro tip number one of the most important things in this process is please, please, please be upfront and totally honest with your situation with your loan officer from the very beginning. Because if you're not, the cat's going to come out of the bag in this process, because the underwriters do find just about anything that you try to hide. So just huge recommendation, guys, just be open and honest. Now, if you are open and honest during that, and you provide all your documentation, should be a very smooth process. And once those approval conditions come out, the loan officer is going to go through everything. We're going to review it. We're going to talk amongst ourselves with our team, our processors, the underwriters. If there's any concerns, we'll get those handled. And then we will get those items sent out to the actual home buyer, the items that we need to get from you. So again, guys, just be open, upfront, and honest. It should be smooth sailing from now until the point you get your keys. So excited for you to get to this point. Definitely a huge milestone. All right, guys, so the next step is to go over the loan approval. So it's pretty cool that this actually all happened at the same time. Your appraisal came in, and your loan has actually been conditionally approved. I know the underwriter issued the conditions, which conditions are items that we talked about before. Remember how I kind of told you guys in the beginning how just to expect 10 to 12 different approval conditions, which are typically just the re-verification of information. Just want to re-verify like moves, job changes, deposits in your account that might be outside of like payroll, just random stuff I want to explain. But like we talked about in the beginning, the reason we do a lot of that work up front and focus on getting all those items addressed is so we have these clean approvals to where we do most work up front, and then when we're in the process, it's super smooth. So I have some good news for you. The approval came back in really clean with only 3 approval conditions, and they're really simple. Yeah, so this right here, your approval conditions, basically there's 3 items here that the underwriters want to get cleared up. The first thing is your earnest deposit. You guys remember when you opened up escrow, Andrew found you the house, you wired the money to escrow to secure the property. So the underwriter needs us to actually source and season that just to make sure that it came from your account that you gave us. And in this case, I believe it did, correct?
Right.
It did? Okay. So it'll be super easy. All we got to do is get that bank statement showing that it was wired in from the same account.
Oh, for sure.
We're good. So the next thing is actually providing documentation regarding the tax payment that you guys made. So it's super, super easy there as well. I know Adrian, you and I spoke about that.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll get that, if you can just get that sent in, we'll get that cleared up super, super
Definitely.
simple. And then the next one is just your homeowner's insurance. So I know that you guys have your relationships because you have your auto insurance, you have different renters insurance, all these different things that you're paying for insurance on, and you can definitely use those companies. So what I'd recommend doing is if you haven't got a quote yet, get a quote from them, but we have our relationships with people that we use. So right here is a quote that we got from one of our insurance providers. And they're really good. I mean, they're an insurance broker. They do a phenomenal job for us. So they have access to a bunch of different insurance companies to get you the best quote with the best coverage.
I'm sorry, I was a little bit like, wow, whenever he said 400 some change. I was like, a month? And he's like, no, a year? And I was like, what? I need to talk to somebody else.
Phenomenal annual premium on that. But again, look at the different coverages, compare it to your insurance quote, and take a look though at the bundle package you guys might save with your insurance company. Because even though our annual premium might be cheaper, all in all, if you combine everything with your current company, they might just reduce everything a little bit to have it make more sense. Just let us know by the time you guys send in those conditions in the next couple of days. Just let me know who you want to use, and then we can just go with whatever you guys decide.
And make sure you review the coverage options and everything that is
absolutely
included. And if you want to increase,
even though it's a really low premium, like Andrew was saying, because a lot of times the premiums are higher, depends on what you have in your house. Like if you have a lot of expensive jewelry, if you got firearms, which I know a lot of us veterans love our stuff, right? If you've got motorcycles and just different valuable things, you want to make sure those items are covered in case there was, a natural disaster or something like that. So just make sure when you talk to your insurance agent, you kind of weigh those options to figure out what you want to do. Right. And so any questions about the loan conditions, the loan approval, anything the underwriter's asking for?
No, it's not really making us jump through any really hoops or anything. It's just
it's easy, man.
pretty quick. Yeah.
You guys did a good job. So that's important because not a lot of people do. A lot of people just kind of like, we're good. We got 45 days to close, 30 days to close. But because you guys gave it to me all up front, that's why it was so clean. So super easy. So just try to get that over in the next 1 to 2 days.
Yeah.
Send it over to our processor, Shannon. She'll get it all dialed in and get everything cleared up. I expect to, once we have all of it, as long as everything is exactly what we needed, we'll submit it to get what's called a clear to close. Once it's cleared to close, then we can actually work on issuing your loan docs for closing.
Nice.
Okay?
which means that is very soon to going to the title company and then the favorite part and doing the happy dance, getting the keys.
Yeah.
So we're all like quite literally right now about 15 days away
Yeah.
from that day. Get those conditions over. Sounds like it's easy peasy for you, fortunately. And then they're going to make some things happen. And the day is coming in like literally 2 weeks from now. Super swift.
And that kind of brings me to my last point I want to talk to you guys about today is just, you guys have done a phenomenal job up to this point, making sure all your ducks are in a row. You guys have done everything you need to do. But there's some things to make sure you keep in mind. Remember the do's and don'ts we went over last time?
Oh, yeah.
It still applies. Until you get those keys in hand and you do the happy dance with Andrew. Just make sure you keep all this stuff together. Don't go out and get any new debts. Don't go out and do all those different things we talked about before. Because even though your loan's approved, even though you guys have given me all the documentation, right before we close, we are going to do another soft credit pull just to make sure you didn't go out and get any new debts and stuff like that. All right, guys, so what's next, right? You're underwritten, approved, you've provided all your conditions, you're working on getting those approval conditions over to the underwriter, your appraisal's in at value, you're probably thinking you're good to go, you're set, everything's fine, now you can go do what you wanted to really do. You want to go buy the furniture, you want to go, we are in Vegas, you want to go get married, right? You want to make job changes. I've been doing this for 14 years and I've seen it all, even some stuff I can't really mention on camera. But the fact of the matter is you're not done until the keys are in hand. You need to make sure you remember those do's and don'ts that we talked about before. Make sure that anything that has to do with your financials, please talk to your loan officer first if you at all can, because you could avoid a huge mistake that you might make and you may not be able to close on your home. So some of those things to really think about that you may not think that really associated, again, kind of as a laughing matter, but getting married or divorced. When you're going through the process of buying a home, you want to make sure if you are going to go get married, I've had it happen in a transaction before to where somebody goes ahead and gets married and doesn't think it's a big deal. Well, depending on the loan program, it may or may not be. So if you're getting married, please let us know. If you get divorced, unfortunately going through that, please let us know as well. Another big thing is job changes. You might think when you're going through this process, hey, from being a salaried guy, I'm going to go to commission, but now I'm going to make, instead of 50 grand, I'm going to make 80 grand. It's going to be better for my loan. You just shot yourself in the foot and you may not be able to buy your house because you're completely changing your tax structure, the way that you're getting paid. You're no longer on a 100% predictable income and you're not being taxed on the income in some cases you are, but it totally changes your financials around, and it does sometimes allow you to make more income, you earn more income, you're better off for your family, you're saving more money, but it does not allow your lender in some cases to even use any of that income at all towards the purchase of your new home, which could cause some issues. By working with your loan officer, by actually following each one of these steps, we can help you avoid any of these pitfalls that are going to come up and help navigate you from where you are now to being able to get your keys in hand and be new homeowners.
This is some really good stuff that Bill's laying out right here. And as you might be starting to gather, after the home appraisal is completed, the next major milestone is the final underwriting process. That brings up the question of the day. If that final underwriter calls any conditions on your home loan, how would you like to review those conditions if that happens? Would you like to have a conversation with your loan officer over the phone? Would you prefer to schedule a video meeting? Or would you like to sit down and have a conversation face to face to get everything ironed out? Let us know what your preferences are in the comments below. Now let's dive in and see what else Bill has to share.
So if anything financial comes up between now and the time you get your keys, still stick to that do's and don'ts. Pick up the phone and call us and let us know so we can help kind of walk you through it.
Awesome.
Cool?
Good, yeah.
All right. Any questions all about any of that?
No.
All right. Exciting stuff. So now the fun part starts. Now you can start planning the house. So, all right, guys. So now we got to talk about the next steps, right? So kind of what the next step is in the process. Obviously, you guys are going to send in your conditions to our processor next couple of days. So the next thing now is what we want to look at is once you get those items in, you're going to look out for what's called a basically a final approval, right? Those items are going to go in to the underwriter to get cleared. Now, as long as all those items get cleared, then we're going to move on to the next step, which we'll talk about later. But if it's not clear, they can come back and ask for a little bit more clarification. But based on what you guys have already provided now, it should be fine. Those items are super, super simple. So I don't anticipate anything coming up. If anything does, or you guys got any questions about anything, let me know. But expect to get an answer for us within a couple of days. And we should be moving on to the next step. So okay.
All right, yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
Good stuff, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Next step.
All right.
Thank you again, sir, for everything.
Good seeing you.
All righty.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.
So now that we got that out of the way with the home appraisal, I know that can be like nerve-wracking and anxiety-producing sometimes, but we got like better than good news.
Worked out.
What are you thinking about that? And I know that you got a really hard task. You got 3 things to accomplish for the final underwriting process.
I think that we did good. I think you did good, Andrew. I think we all did good.
I think you did really good because you guys got stuff back. But what I'm a little bit wanting to reiterate with you, in specific, Miss Nicole,
Yes.
no RC Willie until you close. Because last time,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
He's
Adrian's
the
like, hey,
big shopper.
well then why is he? Oh, I get it
I'm
now.
a window shopper.
You're a well, I don't
He's
know.
a-
You were putting it off on her, making it sound like she was
No,
hungry.
he's the
until we-
spontaneous
She's the one.
I mean, or is this
No,
just not the
like-
case? Because I'm starting to get a. This is true. Are you sure?
He's the one. I can hold
Alana,
off.
we need a
He's
4th vote.
No, we can hold off.
Am I voting on?
Trust me.
Who's the bigger shopper between mom and dad?
She is the biggest shopper.
You out.
Well, that's because I drag them with me, but I don't do the big items like this guy.
What,
She
like
does
a
the-
house?
Unnecessary
Like a house?
item.
Ooh.
Like a head massager.
You have a head massager?
No, I do like the grocery shopping,
Sometimes
so.
I get the little unnecessary stuff, but it's still fun though.
That is.
We try to have fun stuff.
So I'm glad that we're in great spirits. You guys are doing a great job. Seriously, thank you for all of that because the speed in your response to getting back to Bill and his team from the loan side of things is critically important. And you guys just completely crushed it, like Gary Vee style, crushed it.
Nice.
So it's sweet. So the only thing that we need you to do now is essentially hold the pace,
Right.
keep doing the same thing. In 14, 15 days, we'll be giving you the keys to your new place. Okay? So just so you know what's coming next is we'll have one more meeting with Bill going over your closing, your cash to close and getting your clear to close. I know it's like CTC, but the acronym means more than one thing.
Okay.
And then the next step's getting ready to go to your signing appointment. He'll also review your settlement statement with you so you know how much money you need to wire, okay? Anyways, thank you.
It's exciting stuff, so thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. We'll see you soon, sir.
I think
See you, sir.
that was my number
Always.
one,
We'll see you. Well, yeah.
my
crazy.
number one nerve wreck, so
Yeah.
it's out of the way.
I know, right? You were calling me like this last week. Is it in?
Yeah.
Andrew, is it done?
And we're
Like-
the positive.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whew. That went a lot better than expected. It's always good news when you find out that your home appraisal came in at the value. It's always better news when you find out that your home actually was worth more than what you paid for it. So I'm super excited for the Hernandez family, but we're not out of the woods yet. We still have some things coming up. They got to dot their I's and cross their T's leading into the finish line so we can go ahead and finish off this process, which is about another couple of weeks before closing day. I'm super proud of the Hernandez family. They're doing great. We'll see you again soon.
Coming up next time,
Girl Scout
Adrian,
cookies.
come on.
the Hernandez kids are on a mission to sell cookies at New American Funding.
I thought you said you wanted us to make it a family-friendly channel.
whilst Mom and Dad are here to talk with Bill about their closing disclosure, estimated settlement statement, and their clear to close.
Then we get to give you the keys.
Yeah.
So we got
What
some
are we
things.
doing still sitting here?
So
All right, let's do it, right? Let's do it.
you're excited. You want to get into that house.
Bill will make sure all these make sense to them as the closing day gets closer and closer.
Appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully he can cut that out because that ending really sucked. I don't even know why I said that.
No, I have no idea either. You were good up to that point. So that's the perfect ending right there. Right?